What is up, everybody? Ninja Nick here with Tactical Gaming, bringing you guys BioWare. 3 strikes, you are out. And this is going to be about Veilguard and how Veilguard is the third game, and I do mean the third game that has flopped, and I mean in a massive way. So, here we go. We had Anthem. Good game, had great potential, but in midst of halfway going through the game, almost finished with the game, they took most of the major developers, and pulled them off of that project and then put them onto Veilguard. Come to find out, a lot of those developers that they removed from Anthem put them onto Veilguard, half of those ones also left due to inner turmoil in BioWare. I'm pretty sure it had to do with woke identity politics and, the phasing out of a lot of men in the gaming industry. But, so, that one, Anthem, failed. And the reason why it massively failed was because they decided to pull the live service workers off of that game. And then that's what killed the game, okay? Andromeda had great potential, but of course, once again, pulled a bunch of developers off the game, which then made it glitchy, buggy. They had poor voice actor choices. They had a lot of issues with the game, but when it came to the meat and potatoes, which was the story of the game and the gameplay, like as in the combat was phenomenal when you compare it to any and all other Mass Effect games, right? But because they decided to cancel the DLC for the game, which was supposed to finish out and continue the rest of the story for the game, it pretty much killed the game. There's 2 games now failed because they decided to quit or give up halfway because, oh, well, we don't want to give the fans what they want because the fans are being mean to us. So, of course, we hurt their feelings. They didn't want to give us, the paying customer, what we wanted. That's fine. And now, you have this game, Dragon Age Veilguard, which was a complete and total flop, and in so many ways, and it's a sad fact because they spent as long as they have, 10 years, well, we waited 10 years for this game, and it is garbage. It is full of nothing but woke identity politics, forcefully making you make choices on your sexuality of your character, depending on choices that you make. So you got to be very, very careful on choices you make early on in game, and I mean conversation wise. Okay, so you got to be very, very careful. And the character development and creation in this game sucked. Like, your companions suck. Like, there's no interesting thing really about the conversation. You play the game, within an hour you're already bored because you're hearing the same thing over and over and over again, okay? But this is where I'm saying BioWare quite literally is messed up and they are just done. They're fucked. They literally are they're fucked, okay? And it's because of these few games that are coming out, right? And a couple of these games are going to be games that people will probably be paying for like 10 plus years. Easy. Especially if they do really, really well. Okay? So, we had Monster Hunter Wilds demo come out just recently. I would say the same time that Veilguard launched, right? And the funny thing is, Monster Hunter Wild demo, there's more people playing the demo of Monster Hunter. Longer and more. And I mean player count more than Veilguard. The character creation, phenomenal. The story development, phenomenal. The graphics, phenomenal. Monster Hunter Wilds is going to be a massive competitor, and it's a Monster Hunter game, so there's going to be people playing it for a long time. There's still people playing World, okay? Monster Hunter World, that's an old game. So Mass Effect, that's a competitor against Mass Effect. Here's another one, Dune Awakening. This is going to be an MMO, so this one looks like it's going to be a really great game, especially for those sci-fi fantasy people. So this is a massive competitor against Mass Effect, and it's an MMO, meaning you will be able to play with your friends, go out and do a whole lot of other kind of stuff. And the way they explain this game seems like there's going to be a lot of choices that you can have with your character and develop your character the way you want your character to be. That's gonna be great. Armored Core 6 DLC. Okay, the new Armored Core game, which was created by From Software, which makes great games. Anyone who played Elden Ring and then played the Elden Ring DLC knows that if the Elden Ring DLC is anything like what freaking Armored Core DLC will be, the Armored Core DLC will be phenomenal. Okay, that's going to be a massive competitor for Mass Effect. Even years beyond, it's still going to be a competitor. Okay, Hogwarts Legacy is coming out with a DLC that had great character development, great storytelling, great everything. That's going to have a DLC. We heard there's going to be a Hogwarts Legacy 2 coming out that's going to be directly linked to the HBO special TV series that's coming out. That will be probably also a good competitor. If it ends up being anything like the original Hogwarts Legacy, it will be great. Another competitor. And here's another one, okay? And this is a competitor just for RPG status, okay? Elder Scrolls 6. If Bethesda releases this game and does it justice by making it like how Skyrim was, this game will sell. This game will have a solid player base for decades. There's still people playing Skyrim, and Skyrim came out in 2011, okay? That is over 10 years ago. That game is still having solid amounts of players. Maybe not no thousands or like anything else like that, hundreds of thousands, but there's still a solid amount of people playing Elder Scrolls Skyrim. So here's another massive competitor. And then at the same time, you know they're going to have DLC for it because they have DLC for every single Elder Scrolls game that has ever come out since Elder Scrolls 3. Okay? So, these are all massive competitors to Mass Effect, and these are what's going to make sure that Mass Effect don't sell. Even if BioWare completely eliminates all their DEI hire, get rid of all the woke agenda people and everything else, right? Even if you get rid of all of them, they don't have the money to make Mass Effect 5 because of this flop on top of everything else that they've gone and did. Now, they probably have enough funding to continue on for a little bit, but like I said in the previous video with damage control, right? BioWare has damage control. The only way they're going to have enough money to even make this next game is if they quite literally remaster Dragon Age 1 and 2 and bring them to the new consoles, and then also reboot Anthem and give it a live service and then do that. But that's going to take dedication. But with what we've seen with BioWare, what's the point of getting Anthem reboot? What's the point of getting the Dragon Age remaster when they're literally deliberately, which they've already said in a press briefing, like a little statement, not press briefing, a little statement on the internet, which was also stupid, that they're deliberately going to fuck this game up because of Trump voters and they're racist and all this other kind of stuff. So, these are going to be the reasons on why no one's probably going to end up buying the next Mass Effect or even having any hope for it. Woke identity politics all throughout Vanguard. That sucked. The hunting down of whistleblowers in BioWare. We are highly aware of this. They are looking for anyone and everyone who released true statements because they want to lie to the people, which then shows they are a disingenuous company and we should not trust them. Okay? BioWare devs freaking out over the Trump election, and not even just freaking out, but they are calling all his voters Nazis, racists, and all this other kind of stuff. That's not a good way to sell video games. You know what I mean? You're calling people who are going to buy your video game Nazis and racists. That's not smart. And then, I already touched up on this earlier at the beginning of the video, but 2 unfinished games, 1 canceled DLC, which was Andromeda, live service canceled, which was Anthem, 1 massive flop due to identity politics and poor writing, which was Veilguard, 3 failed games. There's literally no hope for BioWare. So, if you're a BioWare worker, right, I'm hoping you're saving every single penny that you're making because guaranteed, BioWare's going to end up shutting down within the next 5 to 10 years. If that. Like I said, if they do not sell a remastered version of the two Dragon Age games that were excellent games that sold like no tomorrow, and there's still people playing those to this day, they're not gonna have any enough money to actually make the next Mass Effect. Same thing with Anthem. If they don't reboot it and actually do it justice and everything else, they're gonna have no money. Because a live service game is definitely a good way to keep a solid amount of money in. Ask Bethesda, they know. They have two live service games which help keep them afloat, which is Fallout 76 and ESO. Those two live service games keep them afloat with constant subscriptions or whatever else that they do that gets them money. They are smart. That, and also they're not making woke identity politic games that are forcing people who are straight or white or whatever to be something or someone that they're not. Right? This is supposed to be the age of acceptance, inclusivity, and all this other kind of stuff, right? And yet, Veilguard clearly was the showing of what that one side does not actually believe in. Fair, inclusivity, acceptance. They don't care about any of that. Okay? So, if you're a BioWare dev and you're watching this and you're whining and crying and wanting someone like me to get my voice shut down, you're the Nazi. Quite literally. Anyone who wants someone's like voice because it's not the same opinion as theirs to be silenced, they're a Nazi. Okay, so I hope you guys liked the video. Don't have any hope for BioWare like I do, because quite literally they've shown the fans what they actually care about. They don't care about the fans at all. They don't like any of us, matter of fact. So, like, share, subscribe, spread the word, stay free, America. Love you guys.